Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Just before the weekend, I did my review / musings on What If Episode 2, What If T'Challa had become Star-Lord. I found it infantilizing, I found it pandering, I found it fetishizing towards simply changing a person's color and then to that end, making them basically perfect. Not only that, the episode seemed to have an absolute ton of plot holes or missing information, which just made it absolutely ridiculous. 2 for 2, I think Marvel are so far in this series of damp squibs. Now, I was going to leave it at that. However, the head writer of the show, A.C. Bradley, not to be confused with the episode writers, so there's an episodic writer and then there's the head writer above them, wanted to respond to what was one of the bigger plot holes, and that was that Peter Quill's mother gave Peter Quill the nickname of Star-Lord. So why would T'Challa have that nickname if he was the one who was taken instead of Peter Quill? Well, after it aired and this plot hole came all over the internet, the head writer, who can I just say, before we go any further, has very little body of work behind them. Just 2 projects between 2005 and 2014, which includes 1 episode of Arrow, and then 2 animated series until What If. So they're hardly brimming with experience. They have 1 producer credit, 1 director credit, 1 cinematography credit, and 1 additional crew credit. Is this a story that we've seen plenty of times over with the recent Marvel materials? Why, yes. Yes, it is. Maybe this is why their stuff is riddled with plot holes and mistakes. So, the way that they responded to the plot hole of why T'Challa was being called Star-Lord is this. And before someone on Twitter tells me that Star-Lord was the nickname that Peter Quill's mum gave to him, nice passive-aggressive start, the reason he's called Star-Lord is that we were guessing. Excuse me? We were guessing. Hi, as HeelvsBabyface, I have a question for you. With you being the writers, why are you guessing? You could write it into the episode should you have thought about it. Okay, that's way too 4,000 IQ, I guess. We were guessing that Yondu knew that Star-Lord was also the nickname of Ego. Well, Star-Lord wasn't also the nickname of Ego. I think you're slightly confusing something. Over thousands of years, I implanted thousands of extensions of myself on thousands of worlds. I need to fulfill life's one true purpose, to grow and spread, covering all that exists, until everything is me, Ego to Star-Lord. So you're saying because everything is him, the Star-Lord is his nickname. The Star-Lord is the name that he's given to the extensions of himself, i.e. his offspring. Now he assimilates all to become one, but then he becomes Ego. The Star-Lord is gone. The extension of himself is gone because he has now consumed the universe, with his plan being that. So the Star-Lord is referring to the offspring. It's not a nickname for him per se. Spaceman was. Little Planet was. So I think they've read that one really incorrectly. But what staggers me is what they say afterwards. And this has led me to this video and why I'm decided to pick up on these plot holes and what I class as laziness within the writing and the editing to actually fix them. That Meredith called Peter Star-Lord because she knew Ego was not human. She refers, when she's talking to Peter, she refers to Ego as an angel, an entity of light, not Star-Lord. She calls him the Star-Lord. And so that's how the word was in the ether, that Yondu was aware of it, and he started calling Peter almost as a fun joke. Well, he didn't pick up Peter in this what if. And if you're referring to the Guardians of the Galaxy and Yondu calling Peter Star-Lord almost as a fun joke, that's because it's relevant to Peter Quill because his father is Ego. T'Challa isn't. It isn't relevant to that character at all. And you might find this being nitpicky, but when we go through all the errors in this episode, massive errors, it isn't nitpicky. To me, it's negligence on behalf of these writers. And then it kind of just kept going, and T'Challa doesn't like the title. Well, T'Challa shouldn't have even been called it in the first place. It doesn't make sense to be. Because he's just a regular guy trying to do good. Well, if that was the case, then he wouldn't have accepted the name of Star-Lord. Because as we saw from the episode, everyone kissed his ass. And so all he had to do was say, stop calling me Star-Lord. And they would have done it. Because you made him a messiah in the episode that he could do no wrong. And then they say, he's not royalty as far as he knows. He was 8 years old when he was kidnapped. Went of his own volition. Whatever. He lived in the palace in Wakanda. His father was the king. He knew he was royalty. What show are you watching? It's crazy that they would say such a stupid thing, and they're the head writer of the episode. When he goes back to Wakanda at the end, he goes straight to the palace. Of course he knows his royalty. So, let's go through some of the other glaring issues that the episode have. First of all, when he's captured, and the crew members of the ship believe T'Challa is Star-Lord, is Peter Quill. And then they say, well, all humans look the same. Well, they themselves are humanoid. It makes no sense whatsoever. And Yondu being blue would mean that they don't comprehend that Yondu's blue. And that's never something which, again, is even touched upon. Because the gag was that the two of them should have looked like entities that were identical, saying that they couldn't tell the difference between a human. So this just looked stupid. And so Peter Quill doesn't get picked up, and off to space they go. Then we have Thanos. They turn up at this bar, and we find out that Thanos isn't waging war against the galaxy. In actual fact, he's part of the crew now. And why? Why has Thanos abandoned his plan to destroy half the life in the universe? Because T'Challa, and I got to refer to them as T'Challa and not Black Panther, because that's going to come up later. T'Challa gave them a better argument as to how to distribute the resources. What was that argument? Didn't say. So we have just gone through a 10-year story arc to defeat Thanos, to prevent him from snapping his fingers with the Infinity Gauntlet to wipe out half of the universe's population. And we are not given the argument which changed his mind. And the reason that we're not given the argument that changed his mind is because the writer is not clever enough to concoct one. So as we do with modern day, particularly when it comes to creating a hero, we are told the traits of the hero as opposed to actually seeing them because they're too lazy to develop a character. In this case, we are told that he was talked out of destroying half of the universe to redistribute the resources because they couldn't find a way to actually argue it. That is a massive, massive error in this. Just a little one now, but a little one that involved care and attention. Glasses. When they're in the bar, they're using these glasses. They have stems, but they don't appear to have bases. And these glasses, they levitate above the table. So there's something about them being able to levitate on these specific tables in the middle of space. However, this is the bar in space somewhere in the middle of some place. And yet, when they go back to Wakanda at the end, and when they're having a party with the King of Wakanda, they are using the same glasses again. Which means either A, they decided once they arrived at Wakanda and were offered a glass of champagne to say, no, wait here. I'm going to go back in my spaceship, go to this bar in the middle of nowhere, buy some of the glasses with the baseless stems that they have, come back, and then allow you to put the champagne in that for me to drink. Or B, best case scenario, they had some in the ship. So they still said, oh no, you keep your glass of champagne. I'm going to go back to the ship, get myself a baseless glass with just a stem, and pour the champagne in here and drink from there. Laziness. Laziness. That they didn't even get something like that right. And then finally, the major plot point, the necklace. When T'Challa is picked up, he doesn't have the necklace on. His father is wearing the necklace. His father is Black Panther. But T'Challa doesn't drink the powerful juice of 1,000 generations to become Black Panther at any stage. So where does the necklace materialize from? It's not going to be under the clothes. Let's not play that stupid game. Where does it come from? Now, we are told at one point that Yondu went back to Wakanda and reported to T'Challa that it had been destroyed in another senseless war between mankind. However, that was a lie. So how would T'Challa have ended up with the necklace? Yondu couldn't have got the necklace. It just appeared. And it isn't just a necklace. This is a massive plot point in the episode, because when he's walking around the Collector's base, it glows and allows him access into a spaceship that was built by the Wakandans to look for T'Challa. So if he didn't have that necklace, he wouldn't have been able to gain access. He wouldn't have known that Wakanda was never actually destroyed in the first place. All of these things could have been prevented. You could have had a flashback where Yondu had stolen the necklace when he went back to try and offer some proof to T'Challa that Wakanda had fallen, and gave it to him as a token of his former home, and he wears it as that. You could have mentioned that you could have changed the two humans, or the two humanoids who captured T'Challa, and replaced them with blob entities to make that joke actually work. You could have created a story for Thanos, but as I've already said, you're not clever enough to do so, and that's why you didn't. You could have put bases on the glasses, and they could have been different glasses, but you're too lazy, so you just rendered the same thing. And the Star-Lord one, which just doesn't make sense in the first place. This is laziness. This is nothing but neglect. These are things which we picked up, and I say we, the viewers, immediately. So who is proof watching? Who is proof reading these stories which they're meant to get out? Or are Marvel, Disney's Marvel, simply saying, we don't care? Done it, print it, get it out. Who cares? Because we don't. Because that's what it really feels like to me. Hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and YouTube for live streaming links. They're in the description box down below. I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.